You are welcome to Old Detective Channel, where we bring you all true crime stories. So today we will be talking about a 4-year-old boy who vanishes into thin air. I know you expect answers, right? But what happens when none of the answers make sense? That's what happened in the case of Gus Lamont. Because the more investigators searched, the more this whole thing started to feel impossible. After a week of relentless searching, air, land, drones, even the army, there was still no trace. No clothing, no tracks, no sign of struggle. It was like the outback had just erased him. So naturally the question became, what really happened out there? And that's where the theories started to divide everyone, from the police to locals to online detectives halfway across the world. Let's start with the first theory: he wandered off and got lost. Seems logical, right? A curious kid, a moment of distraction, a wide-open landscape. But here's the problem: search teams covered a radius of more than 10 kilometers around the property, on foot, by helicopter, with thermal imaging. And not a single sign of him was found. No footprints beyond that one faint print. No clothing snagged on fences. Nothing. So if he walked away, where did he go? The second theory: a hidden danger, the land itself. Locals know that country is littered with old wells, mine shafts, and sinkholes. Some are unmarked, half covered by sand or grass. Could Gus have fallen into one? It's possible, terrifyingly possible. But here's the twist: the police searched every known shaft and pit within miles. Drones were sent into crevices, ground-penetrating radar was even tested in certain areas. Still, no trace. Which leaves us with the theory that made everyone's stomach turn: that someone took him. Now, before we go down that road, remember, this property was remote. To get there, you'd have to drive for miles on rough dirt tracks, open and close multiple gates, and cross land that barely anyone ever travels. So who would be out there and why? Police said there was no sign of forced entry, no vehicles seen, and no known threats to the family. But still, the human mind can't help but wonder. Because sometimes what seems impossible is. And then came the whispers: locals claiming they saw suspicious tire marks, others swearing they heard strange noises that night. Online theories exploded. An outback drifter. A black market child ring. Even aliens, some said. It got ridiculous fast, but beneath the noise, one truth remained: something happened that day that no one could explain. By the time official search efforts ended, everyone was left asking the same haunting question. If Gus didn't walk away and he wasn't taken by the land, then what's left? Because even though the search was over, the story was. And in the days that followed, the outback would echo with grief, guilt, and secrets that refused to stay buried. That's where we go next: echoes in the outback. You know, sometimes the scariest stories aren't the ones with monsters or killers. Sometimes it's the ones with no ending. Because when there's no body, no answers, no closure, the silence becomes the loudest thing of all. And that's what the disappearance of Gus Lamont has become: an echo in the outback, a mystery that refuses to fade. After weeks of searching, police officially scaled back the operation. What was once a massive rescue mission with helicopters, volunteers, and TV coverage became a quiet, painful waiting game. The case was handed to major crime investigators. Not because they had proof of foul play, but because, honestly, they'd run out of every other possibility. And that's when things started to change. The property, once filled with searchers and flashing lights, went silent again. Locals went home, reporters packed up. But for Gus's family, time just stopped. The front gate stayed open for months just in case. His toys were still there, waiting in the yard. And every night, his grandparents left a porch light on. Because hope, even when it hurts, is hard to turn off. Online, the case exploded into myth. Facebook groups, Reddit threads, amateur sleuths picking apart every photo, every quote. Some claimed to have inside info, others pointed fingers at innocent people. It got ugly, like it always does when the truth runs cold. Meanwhile, the community struggled with guilt. Could they have missed something? Was there a clue hidden out there in the dust, waiting to be found? People who'd helped in the search said they still dreamt about it: walking the same ridges, calling the same name, hearing nothing but wind. And you can feel the weight of it, this ache that lingers when something doesn't make sense. Parents across Australia hugged their kids a little tighter. Search crews said it was the one case they'd never forget. Because deep down, it's not just about what happened to Gus, it's about how fragile life can be, how fast a normal day can turn into a nightmare. Today, the official story is still unsolved. No remains, no definitive evidence. Just questions and a family still hopping for answers in a land that keeps its secrets well. Maybe one day someone finds something, a clue, a fragment, anything that finally says what happened to that little boy in the red dirt. Until then, all that's left is silence and the haunting truth that sometimes the earth itself doesn't give back what it takes. If you found this story as heartbreaking and haunting as I did, don't forget to hit subscribe. Because out here there are more stories like this, mysteries buried deep in the dust, waiting to be told. And maybe, just maybe, someone watching will help bring answers that the world's been waiting for.